Welcome, guys. My name's Scott McCartney. I'm the CEO of Kinaway Chamber of Commerce. And today we're just going to be looking at some planning and strategizing in your business whilst we navigate through the COVID-19 situation. Firstly, Kinaway acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we work on and travel through, and we pay respects to our elders past and present. So today we're going to be looking at a few different things and some key focus areas will be sustainability. So understanding what is most important and why, and so that you can prioritise different things in your business. Secondly, we'll look at supply chain, identify vulnerabilities and impacts to ascertain the risks to recovery. So for instance, working at what you need to continue your business and what you need to in the recovery phase that we're going to talk about a bit later on as well. Okay, technology. So maintaining collaboration, productivity and security. Already we're starting to see some cyber attacks from people having lapsed technology with people using their own devices, working from home and so forth. So we'll go through that in a little bit more detail. Health and wellbeing. So ensuring that you have the support mechanisms in place for you. You're the key asset in your business, so it's making sure that you're okay. And people, looking at how to respond to get the best out of your available resources, and people are our best resource, so how we communicate with them and how you manage expectations in your business. And at the end of it, we'll take away some practical takeaways, I should say, for you and your business. So what are you going to implement in your business? Now, unfortunately, today wasn't able to be a webinar due to some technological problems. But what we'll do is at the end of it, I'll put my details there, and anyone who wants to contact me for any specific advice, that'd be great. We might even try and work out a Q&A at a later date once I get this technology thing all sorted. Unfortunately, I'm not a technology whiz. Okay, now the next one we're going to look at is supply chain. It's probably something that people don't think about enough. When you think about the importance of the processes and procedures in your business to actually deliver the project, the product, or the service that you as a business provide, sometimes we forget about things like supply chains and how important it is that you can't do some of these things without having good measures in place in maintaining supply chain and some alternatives. So production. So if we look at production, if you're making a product, whether it's you're a catering business, whether you do some artwork, whether you even do some consultancy, it's a product that needs some form of production. Whether it is an ingredient, whether it is some paints, or whether it is even computer software or IT help. If you're going to deliver some of your products, you're going to make sure that you know how long you can produce what you do with your current stock or supply chain. Okay, so that's one thing to look at. Cash, what cash reserves available to support the business? So how much cash you've got aside, not just equity. Equity could be bills and so forth, but cash. What cash do you have? Okay, because one of the things when you're looking at your supply chains, you've got to find some alternatives to your supply chain. Now, how you do that is by diversifying where you get your products and services from that actually help you produce your end product. Okay, so what cash reserves have you got? What can you put aside to say, I'm going to reinvest this in my business? This amount over here is to help with my labour for my staff, but this is what I've got here because if I can't buy these products or services, I can't produce my end product. Okay, now in supply chain, labour is a big part of that, and people forget that. So what is a reduced operational output going to have on the workforce? Okay, so if you reduce your staff or you reduce your offering, okay, what does that mean to your labour? So as we spoke about previously, looking at things like ensuring that maybe some people can take leave. Okay, what does that look like? What are the essential things that your people are really good at? What do people do? Can other people support that? What happens if there was a shutdown? So I guess it's looking at how those people in your business can stay engaged, but also that they have stuff to do, or if there's nothing for them to do, how does that look for your business in terms of your supply chain? All right, so it may be that, like I said previously, that people can take leave without pay if they're open to it, and there is support there for them. Okay. Supply and demand. Okay, so this is the one thing that we're probably seeing now with the supermarkets in particular, with all this crazy hoarding of toilet paper, which I still don't understand. So I guess it's communicating with your clients and your customers about potential delays because of issues with your supply chain, issues with production. Because remember, through this, your business is where it is right now because of a reputation that you've built over a period of time. Okay, so if we don't want to harm that because there is going to be a recovery stage, and we want to make sure that you're in the right situation, the right place to onwards and upwards and rebuild your business. So being open and transparent about your communication with your customers, your clients, and other people in your supply chain. So whoever provides you with your stationery or your paper or whatever it is, just having those open discussions because they've probably got input for you as well to help you in terms of developing your strategies moving forward. And with your supply chain, it's all key items that actually make your business work as one. So when you look at these cogs here, if one of these cogs was to fall out, none of it would work. Okay, so that's why it's also linked up. So if you took the cash, you don't have any cash, it's not going to be able to rotate the other cogs. Your supply and demand, if you had no supply and demand, okay, there's no point having the other parts. So there's a reason why I've structured it like this, is that so you can see that every part of your supply chain is important. Okay, not one has a priority over others. So it's about working in each of those areas, and we talk about it all the time about working in your business, right, or working on your business. Now, whilst times are going to be tough, for the next, at least for the next 4 to 6 weeks, and potentially a bit longer, this is a really good opportunity for you guys to work on your business to make sure that you get through this and that you get to the recovery stage where we will be onwards and upwards. People who have probably really engaged with Kinaway, especially since I've started in December, this is a really big thing for me, health and wellbeing. It's one of those things that I've been very, very lucky to have some really good mentors over the period of time. And one in particular was always saying to me, Scott, it's okay not to be okay. Okay, it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to feel the stress, but it's about how you recover from that, how you reset. And he used to call it the Alt Control Delete. Just reset, off you go. Put that in a compartment somewhere. Deal with it later. But it's about having that fresh outlook and to ensure that your emotional intelligence is there at an elite level, so that you, one, as a leader, people can't see that you are feeling the stress. Okay, because what happens then is your self-awareness becomes a bit of an issue, that your staff, your people that work for you, will start seeing that and maybe feel a little bit less confident. So self-awareness is the ability to focus on yourself and how your actions, thoughts, or emotions do or don't align with your internal standards. Okay, there's going to be times when you're not going to be happy with an outcome, and maybe with a particular staff member or a supplier or a process, but you can't let that get to you. All right, you can't let it get to you. You got to be an alt control delete. My wife laughs about this all the time because I say it to my kids, and it's not even a real person, but one of my most famous or my most fondest quotes out there about adversity comes from the great Rocky Balboa. Not how hard you get hit, but how hard you get hit, get up and keep moving forward. Whilst it's only a line in a movie, I've used that for years in terms of my business and managing people, because we're going to get through all sorts of things in terms of adversity, and we have as people for many, many years. But we just got to move on. We've got to get up and keep moving forward. All right. Safe space. So to be able to do this, though, you got to make sure you've got a safe space. Have someone somewhere where you can retreat to practice mindfulness. So mindfulness has been able just to sit there and just relax. Okay. Don't take things personally. I actually had a very good conversation with an AFL play manager just recently about online bullying, for instance. And he was really clear where he said that how footballers need to start thinking about it, and it's no different to business people, and I relate a lot of things from sport to business, is that person who's being an online bully doesn't know who you are. Your football doesn't define you. So not to take it personally, because just the rules of the law are that there's 18 AFL clubs out there, so there's 17, every 18 people, 17 are going to hate you. I think that's no different to business. I think you're going to have a lot of competitors out there. You're going to have people that are stressed, but don't take it personally. Don't take the coronavirus issue we've got going on right now personally. It's about, don't take your staff members' problems or issues they're coming to you with personally, because they're feeling the same as you. But you need to have that safe space where you can go and just press your Alt Control Delete, where it's 2 minutes sitting there in the dark, just so you can start relaxing and start thinking about what's important to you. You know, start thinking about your internal standards, as we talk about in the self-awareness, so that you know that it's not about who you are. The decisions you make in your business, the decisions you make with staff, supply chains, and customers doesn't define you as a person. It sets a standard, okay? It sets a standard in terms of what your reputation is, what you're perceived as, but it doesn't define you. And there's going to be all sorts of things that we need to deal with over this period of time. But it's about how you, as a manager, owner of a business, CEO, sit back, Alt Control Delete, reset, and then approach the next task without any of that perceived or bias decisions that you're going to make because you're feeling uptight. You know, I think I had a really good conversation with our business just recently about, she was talking about how she had to make some really tough decisions with some staff, but she was worried about all her own circumstances as well, which is fine. We need to do that. But when she was making these decisions, she was making them with emotion. And you can't make these decisions with emotions, because you've got to have staff, you're going to have people, suppliers, all come to you at different times, all in the same boat, but you've got to be able to reset and make decisions based on any unbiased decisions you can possibly make. And anyone who knows me and anyone who's worked for me will know the biggest thing I talk about is the best version of you. Find what makes you the best version of you. With me, it's giving my wife and kids a hug, seeing them at night. That makes me happy. So anytime you feel bad, you feel down, it's okay to feel like not to be okay. But just remember that one thing that brings the best version out of you. Whether it's then you call your partner, you call your mum or your dad or your brother or your sister, and just don't talk about business. How are you going? Simple as that. That's a simple question. How are you? And I know that even in the stressful times, even now, you know, I think one of the only reasons I've been able to get through it is I've been lucky enough I'm able to work from home at the moment. And I have a bad moment, I just turn around and I see my kids there, my wife, and it makes me feel better. And it brings out the best version of me. So it's one thing I say to every business right now: find what makes you the best version of you. So when you've got these times where you're going to be coming against some really adverse times, just remember what makes the best version of you, and just touch that when you have to. Technology. So this is a fun bit. So what we're finding at the moment is, even I got an email the other day, there's going to be some unscrupulous people out there who are going to want to take advantage of these situations. Making sure we've got the right technology in protection is one thing, but also around communicating. Okay, so obtaining a communication platform to keep staff informed and suppliers in your supply chain. So having one form of communication is called a single point of failure. So if you rely on your emails for communications, what happens if emails go down? Okay, what happens if a server crashes because everybody's on at the same time? It does happen. Okay, so it's about having multiple points of contact. So things like apps like WhatsApp. You've got your normal text messages. You've got Facebook. So there's other platforms out there that you can use, and it's best in these situations, especially if you've got people working from home, maybe taking some leave without pay, that you communicate with them constantly. I know here at Kinaway, it's something we do. So the members out there, they're on our databases. I communicate daily, probably 2 or 3 times, just to get all the right information out there, and to keep everybody connected. And you need to do that for your staff and your suppliers, just to ensure that everyone knows what's going on and helps everyone. So there's a form of transparency about what you're doing. Okay, work out in your processes, what can you do remotely? Can you take some of your services to the digital age? So maybe you are an artist. Can you go and take some photos and put that stuff online? Maybe you do make coffee mugs. Maybe you make earrings. Maybe you're even a consultant and you go and do some one-on-one training or some group training. Can you deliver this remotely? There's plenty of platforms to do that. I'm even now discovering the different platforms that you can use. So really keep your mind open and think about what you do, what you can do in these changing times, and how you can take advantage of that so you don't have to completely shut down. I had a really good conversation with our corporate partners this morning about there's going to be a lot of people working from home, not just in this country, but around the world. So, yes, there's going to be some buyer confidence issues, but there's also going to be some people out there that are bored and they're going to want to buy stuff. So, how do they do that? So, it's about positioning yourself that you can take advantage of technology and make sure that maybe there's an untapped resource, and especially in those overseas markets. Remote working, all right, so if you're going to have staff working from home, it's about understanding all the security considerations for that. I got an email yesterday from somebody called Angelique. It was a Gmail account. She tried to prove to me that she knows me and she has access to my camera on my computer and can share with the world what I get up to. So if that's sitting there on the couch watching the footy with my kids or patting my dog or my cat, then I'm not sure what she's going to say. But if you do see that stuff on the internet, guys, let me know. But she's threatened to give me and my whole family coronavirus unless I pay her $4,000. Now, how she got my information, she even specifically named a person who I'm close to to prove that she has access to all my information. So there are people out there now trying to take advantage of that. I'm not worried about that in particular because I've got nothing to hide, and I'm certainly got my own measures in place to protect myself and my family around coronavirus. So, but unfortunately, some people maybe take this stuff seriously, and you should, but reasonably. So there are some people taking advantage of it. There's going to be some times where you think something might be genuine help. Maybe someone's going to help you with your setting up online or whatever, and they're going to get access to your information. So please don't lapse your security considerations, and just make sure your staff, in particular, are set up correctly. So if they are bringing their own device, identify the risks of allowing unknowing devices to access your work systems and applications. All right, so it's not about just having a password these days for a Wi-Fi and off you go. We have some IP, intellectual property, that we need to protect still. So it's really important that when you are allowing people to access your systems, and especially your applications, there's some sensitive data there that maybe unwillingly other people can get access to. So just be very careful around that. But in that consideration, you also need to worry about the connectivity and bandwidth for your employees. So, for instance, I know my kids at the moment are off school. They've been off school for about a week. And the school was pretty proactive. They'd set up an online portal for the kids to log into. And the first day they all logged in, 2,200 kids crashed the first time. So they had to take a different approach the next day. The next day, the issue was because I was working from home and I'm doing a lot of my work via video conference, and also got 3 kids in the house doing video conferences to their teachers. The bandwidth of our internet wasn't enough. We had NBN, but it was what I found out was just a basic NBN. So I had to upgrade it to the highest amount. But we pretty much lost a day, and we didn't know what it was. So it wasn't until we spoke to the internet company that they predicted that. So just ensure that your employees, if they are working from home, have the correct setup. And also, whether the connection is also suitable for the security implications of a residential address as well. So if there's some really sensitive stuff there, maybe it's not suitable. But that's certainly a consideration to take. Okay, now one of the last things I want to talk about was probably one of the most important things in your business is your people. Okay, what is the critical services or product that your people provide for you? Okay, so what fundamental things can your business not do without? And every business has superstars. Now, just think of the times when people go on leave. What does that do to your business? Is there a critical person within that business that if they're not around, that your business suffers? Okay. So who delivers them? Who delivers those critical services? And what are the critical roles? So when we're talking, what we're going to be talking about here is the absolutely skeleton staff, and have that business continuity plan that if someone was to get ill, if someone was not going to be able to work for any reason because it's shut down, are you still going to be able to deliver on those? Now, we're at a point now where it's a little bit too late to start talking about training people in other roles. But at the same time, there's going to be ability here for us moving forward that we're not just going to shut up shop and no one's working any day. Okay, with every threat becomes an opportunity. We don't know what those opportunities, we know what the threat is for every business right now, but we don't know what opportunities it's going to present as well. It's about keeping your business engaged through this period of time. Working out who delivers what, who else can be taught how to do that in this period. And whilst they may not get the specific on-job training at the moment, it's about preparing people to be able to step up or step down. Okay, so it's about setting scenarios and look at the thresholds as well. That what's the capacity of someone doing something in these scenarios? So your best case and worst case scenarios. So plans around training, upskilling, and capability. Okay, so making sure that you've got the training in place that someone else within your business can do another critical role if called upon, which means upskilling them, okay, to expand their capability. Communication, so developing a strategy around communicating through this period. Alignment of messages so that you're all talking about the same messages. So when you're talking about your scenario planning, that you've got more than one point of messages, but you're all saying the same thing too, all right? So, and consider the tone. We're even talking to your staff at the moment. Consider your tone because as business owners, you're going to be seen as a leader. Well, you are seen as a leader. So it's about how you project that to your staff and being really positive. So really consider your tone and your channels of communication. How are you going to communicate? Leadership, I touched on it briefly, but culture is set by what leaders do and say, okay? So it's about you walking the talk, as you'll see there. So you can say one thing, if you're working from home, it's about being genuine in your approach to working from home and setting the example. I think that's, when there's tragedy, alarms going off, people look for people to lead. So it's about being strong and being a good leader through this. Okay, in summary, and like I said, this is just to give you a bit of an idea what we're going to be talking about. But in summary, we've been looking obviously sustainability, so understanding your cash flows, understanding how you go about your business, and ensure you've got mechanisms in place, how long you can do that for, and then look at ways recovery will come. Okay, it will come. Some business, I've heard some really good stories of some of our business that are doing really well at the moment, just because of the circumstances. We've had one business just recently do the largest single procurement, Indigenous business procurement for the Victorian government ever. That was an opportunity that came about. It's not sustainable though, but certainly was an opportunity. So it's about making sure that we've got practices in place that we become sustainable, even on the skeleton staff, that we can still operate. And when we get at the other side, we're not picking up the pieces, we're just rebuilding and moving back up the chain. So understanding supply chains is very, very important to know what vulnerabilities there are in your impacts to ascertain the risks of recovery. So we don't want you to certainly close up shop. There's got to be ways that we can keep the business running in whatever structure we can to ensure that at the end of the day, we've worked really hard to get our businesses where we are, that you can go onwards and upwards. Technology, it's one thing that we probably don't think about enough. So maintaining strict procedures and protocols around your technology, look for opportunities with your technology as well. And we'll certainly be talking a bit more about that later on as I understand technology a bit more myself. Then you've got the health and wellbeing, just to make sure you're okay. And like I said, it's okay not to be okay. And sometimes we think that it's a weakness. It's not, okay? It's not a weakness to not be okay. What is its strength to actually have that self-awareness to ensure that when you come out the other side, that you are okay and you have the mechanisms in place and the support structures to continue on with business. And finally, with the people, how to respond and get the best out of your people and being there for them. You're going to have a lot of your people coming to you stressed. They've got their own circumstances, responsibilities, obligations, and it's a very trying time for everybody. So don't discount what they've got to say, but remember to be strong, okay? Really think about what is the best version of you, okay? And ensure that you're able to reset. And that's what your people are looking for. They're looking for leaders. And you wouldn't have your business here today if you weren't a good leader. I guess what these trying times do for all of us is they bring us together, okay? So I know we've got a good little community going on here with Kinaway, but it's much further than that too. I know some of the posts and some of the videos we've been posting are getting like 5,000 and 6,000 views. So, and we have 240 odd members. So there's other people out there that are interested, other people that are looking for the support and looking for leadership. And I think it's up to all of us in this industry, especially Indigenous business, to ensure that we're leading um, for our people to look to us to be strong, be the strength, the pillars that helps ensure that all of us as Aboriginal people get out the other side of this. And what they say, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So thank you very much. I hope you're going to get some practical takeaways out of this for your business. Like I said, I'm going to do some more in-depth stuff over the next few days. This was a bit of a test to see if I could navigate through this system, and looks like we have. So you'll see over the next few days, I'll actually do webinars on each one of these. I'll try and make them interactive. I'm trying to work out how to do that so that people can actually ask questions as we go. But thanks a lot for your time. Stay strong, stay deadly, and stay safe. Thank you.